Hello everyone and welcome to this short presentation on IELTS, the International English Language Testing System. My name is Dr. Samer Qassar. I'm a UK graduate, PhD banking 2009, and I've been training people for IELTS for the last 3 years. I'm also the manager of Sky Education, the well-known training center based in the Free Zone, Damascus. Today I'm just going to take you through our IELTS experience and tell you why you may want to do IELTS indeed. طبعا اهلا وسهلا فيكم شباب. دكتور سامر قصار PhD UK بين درس الايلتس من 3 سنوات. حابب اخذكم ب presentation سريعه عن الايلتس. طبعا بدايه حنقول شغله كثير مهمه انه why you need IELTS. Well, IELTS is actually let me say it's the passport, your passport to the globe. It's well needed and required by Australian institutions, academic and non-academic institutions. It's also well respected and admired and appreciated in all of Europe, all of the European countries, obviously not to mention the UK, the homeland of IELTS, and also Canada. Most importantly, the USA, 3,000 institutions, guys, in the USA, academic and non-academic institutions again, ask people for IELTS. ليش بدنا IELTS؟ IELTS شباب هو خلينا نقول global accreditation، اعتراف عالمي بالمستوى العام للغة بمستوى اللغة الإنجليزية عندك. طبعا هذا الشيء كثير مهم صار، خاصة في نيد كثير مهمة صايرة لأنه people go around the world and actually explore their opportunities around that. You don't need any actually recognition from anybody else. This is the global accreditation and recognition about your English level in general. طيب خلينا نحكي بشكل تفصيلي أكثر. حتى فوت IELTS شو مطلوب مني؟ You have to be guys, you have to be at least intermediate level in general English. هي السكيل المطلوبة، لازم تكون أقل شيء بمستوى متوسط باللغة الإنجليزية حتى تقدر تعمل IELTS meaningful IELTS if you like. Yeah, so that's where we should start from. And I'm doing my presentation here in English just to you can consider this as a filter, first time filter to those who can really understand what I'm talking about here. If you can understand 80 to 90% of what I'm doing here, guys, you're way into the IELTS level. That's no problem. If you can't get as much, I would recommend you to do something of a general level English to support your general level there and then get to the level that you need, and in you go. طيب خلينا نحكي تفصيل أكثر شباب عن IELTS and what we do here at Sky Education. Yeah. As you can see there, guys, basically IELTS. If you want to do IELTS, if you want to sit for your IELTS, you gotta have to really score high. Now, as you can see here, guys, I'm actually my aim is always to take people to the 7 band. Yeah, 7 band. Obviously, the overall score is 9, so getting 7 out of 9 is the will and a very meaningful, actually, kind of score. Because if you get 7, well, for those who want to carry on their studies, postgraduates or undergraduates or anything, this is a door opening, a gate opening for your scholarships, for any scholarships that you can actually look for. People scoring 7+ are very much welcome to scholarships. Mind you, if you score 7, any university around the world should say yes to you, and they will be happy to offer you a place in their master's degrees or actually undergraduates or anyway. Anyway, for those who are looking for undergraduate, 6.5 is more than enough, to be honest. But I'm talking about those also wanting to do further studies, postgraduate. Yeah, okay, masters or PhDs. Now, let me tell you more about our course and how we do it, guys. You know, how I train people for IELTS and to get to this level. This is our lucky number, 7, right? Just keep that in mind, yeah? As you can see, guys, IELTS consists of 4 main skills: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. We at Sky Education here take people in a very systematic way to get or to hit the target that we are all looking for. Obviously, if you get 7, that would be a treasure forever. Not only for you, it's only for me too, because that's something I would consider absolutely of a fantastic value. Because I would say, okay, this guy or this lady has done their best, got what they wanted, and this is exactly what I'm actually aiming for. How to get there, guys? Now, let me tell you about the methodology or the way we go about IELTS at Scum. We start with listening. By the way, we split the course in very much in accordance to what the actual exam is. In the actual exam, you'll be tested for listening first, then reading, then writing, then speaking. We design our course this way too. Well, let's talk about listening for the time being. In order to score 7 in listening, in IELTS listening, you really need a couple of things. First of all, we spare the first week in our training on improving your general listening skills, right? Yeah? Plus some hands-on training, yeah? Hands-on training. Basically, we take you through so many activities, guys, in class and off class, whereby you have to improve your listening. You have to tune your ears, train your brain for the tone of the language and for the vocabulary that these people use and the pace of it, I mean the speed at which people speak. If you want to be good in listening, you have to listen to tons of English, guys, tons of English. And that's what we make sure our candidates do, in class and off class. So, the first week we spare for listening will be dedicated for hands-on exercises in class and all this. Once we have made sure, obviously there is a very great focus on the techniques, guys, yeah? Each of these skills got techniques. Even if you were a native speaker and you walk into the IELTS test without having any techniques learned or practiced on, you're not going to score as high as you wish. You really need to train yourself for techniques. So, first week is dedicated for in-class training. The second week is dedicated for real exam training, yeah? In-class exam training. So I'll be subjecting people to real IELTS past paper tests, and we do this in class. We get feedbacks back and forth, just to make sure that people are getting the technique right and make sure that their general English level is also going up and up and up. So basically, guys, we work on two things. You're going to have to work on the technique, exam technique, and we're going to have to work on your general English level, meaning listening in those guys. The two things have to go simultaneously, together, at the same time. By the end of the second week, guys, of our course, you should be done with exam training. By the end of the second week of the course, you will be fit to do listening exams, real listening exams in terms of IELTS. That's how we do things. So there will be 2 weeks here, 2 weeks for reading, 2 weeks for writing, and 2 weeks for speaking. That's how we do things. Moving on to the reading section. So many people have problem with this because they're not used to the way they're doing reading. Look, guys, we train people not only for the techniques, we train people for the way native speakers and English-speaking people think about listening, think about or approach reading and do writing, and find out how they do speaking. If you want to do IELTS proper, you really need to understand these guys. Really need to understand their culture, how they approach things. And that's what we train our people for. There we go, guys. For reading, again, first week will be dedicated for in-class orientation and hands-on exercises, techniques, most importantly, and how things go and all this, keywording and topic sentence you're looking for topics, then skimming, then actually matching, cross-matching things and all that. You're gonna have to really make sure that the technique works nicely here with you, because reading got very important thing, which is time. You really need to take care of time as far as reading is concerned. Never mind this. Second week again will be dedicated for reading exam training, and by the end of the second week here, you'll be truly fit if you really do the thing that I asked you to do in that kind of training there, because there is a lot of in-class and off-class training too. By the end of the second week of this training there, you will be fit for the exam for reading. Obviously, look, IELTS is very much like, you know the proverb, practice makes perfect? This is what you should be doing, actually. But my job is to take you through and show you the way and put you on the right track, yeah? In a very structured way in terms of improving your skills. That's what we really try and do. But again, you have to do your bit back home, according to certain instructions and certain structured way of training. Once we are done with reading, guys, By the end of week 4, we'll be done with reading. Then comes the writing experience, where people actually, especially those from who didn't do any English literature in their life, for instance, or whatever, they know little about writing. And I assume that people know nothing about writing. When I start my writing sessions, I start from zeros and take you up to heroes, guys, right? Okay? So, again, for writing, the way of thinking, the way the English-speaking people approach writing is going to be introduced. We're going to have the basic knowledge of how to write an introduction, how to do a paragraph, how to do a conclusion, and then how to do a whole essay. Yeah? In writing, guys, in IELTS, there are 2 tasks, task 1 and task 2. In academic IELTS, there is task 1, it's more like a business report, where you have to transform shapes and figures into words. And task 2 is more like the essay thing, whereby I spare enough time on training people. Mind you, writing is not a big thing, by the way. It's really nice and interesting if you know how to do it. For instance, if you look into essay, so many people take candidates through types of essays and bombard them with so many technical details and all that. I don't care much about this. I care about one thing. What is the question in writing? What exactly are you asked to do? Design your essay around it. Simple. By the way, IELTS is trying to train you guys not only for exam to pass the IELTS test or to score high in the IELTS writing test. It's training you to think correctly and in the right way about how you do your projects, your essays, your assignments later on in your academic life, if you are doing the academic IELTS. It actually is training you to get this, to set the right mentality, guys. How to approach questions, how to approach assignments and projects. I've been through actually so many ups and downs when I was in the UK when I was doing my master's and PhD in terms of writing. It took me some while to know how these people really want you to think about questions and projects and assignments and all that. But finally I got it. And I'm actually going to transfer all my knowledge, all my experience that I've had in the UK, which I spent, I spared blood and sweat, as I say, to get there. I'm just going to transfer it to you. Writing. The good thing about writing too, what really makes us stand out of the crowd, guys, here at Sky, is that you get the chance to write 3 essays and 3 reports. And I will be giving you back a written report, an individual written report of every essay and report you provide me with. If you want to excel in writing, you're going to have to get your hands dirty, guys, and start writing, make mistakes and all this. And my job is to give you feedback on these. Yep. Finally, there we go. Here comes the fun part, speaking, guys, right? Speaking is really fun, is absolutely wonderful, very much interactive in class and off class. Again, if you want to speak well, you're going to have to really listen a lot to native speakers, and you have to practice a lot, right? Yeah? Practice a lot. And the thing is, if you don't practice, you never get perfect. When I say speaking, practicing speaking, we get people in pairs, we get people in groups, we make sure that actually they practice, they speak things out and make sure that the fluency is fine. Once they've got the fluency right, we move on to something else, which is accuracy, and making sure that you use rather unusual words in speaking. For instance, instead of saying good or bad, you say marvelous and wonderful, for instance, as for the word good, and all these kind of things actually. Try and get people to use the non-lazy English, if you like. Try and use active and attractive English for that part there. And the most important thing is how to be impressive, how to speak non-stop, how to answer the questions too. It's the same way we think about writing, guys, as far as speaking is concerned. That's what we train people for here. Again, speaking will be taking 2 weeks. First week and second week. Second week will always be dedicated for exam training, whereby we do full exams in class. One final thing about speaking is that after people get really well trained in speaking, I will be holding a one-to-one, but with myself, a one-to-one examination, speaking examination, whereby I will be running the whole exam with my candidates, each one of my candidates, and provide them with a written report on their performance. What to do, what to improve, what to avoid, and all this. Yeah? So, that's actually almost everything about IELTS. But all I want to say, just a couple of things before we leave. Guys, IELTS is something truly of a high value if you really if you're aiming for them. And there's always one question whereby people always ask us about what is the difference between IELTS and TOEFL IBT. Why shall I do IELTS and not do TOEFL IBT? I always say it's a simple formula, guys. Look, TOEFL IBT is also well recognized and well known around the world and asked by so many universities. But there are three main differences why you should go for IELTS, not TOEFL IBT. And I really mean TOEFL IBT, the internet-based test, not the paper-based, because the paper-based is not recognized around the world. You're going to have to go for the screen-based or internet-based. TOEFL IBT is 4 hours and 4.5 hours test, whereas IELTS is 3 hours, 20 minutes. Both have the same validity, 2 years certificate is for 2 years, and both are globally accepted. Mind you, the other difference is that IELTS is more widely accepted by so many other countries. It's more global, IELTS. So, 4.5 hours, 3 hours, 20 minutes. That's a big difference, yeah? And the result is the same. One more important difference is that IELTS is paper-based. You have a paper, you write on paper. Especially for the reading test, guys, where you have to make notes, highlight keywords, go back and forth to the text itself, do a question, then redo something else, do questions randomly, etc. Whereas you don't have this luxury in TOEFL IBT. You just, once you click the next button, that's it, it takes you through to the next question, you can't go back. That's the thing. And on the screen, you can't give, actually, you can't just do highlights or do keywording or do scribble on the paper, because there's no paper there. So it's a lot harder in TOEFL, and the result is the same, right? Looking into the speaking, that's the third most important difference between TOEFL IBT and IELTS. The difference here in TOEFL, you're going to have to record yourself 45 seconds 3 times. You speak to a screen. You have a question, speak to a screen, 45 seconds. Whereas in IELTS, you have a real person to speak to, right? If you don't understand the question, you can ask that person for clarification. Excuse me, would you please explain to me what you mean by this? And the examiner will simply reply to you. But you don't have this luxury in IELTS. You don't have this luxury in TOEFL IBT. Huh? It's a big difference. What really actually, these are the main 3 differences that make actually IELTS much easier and more realistic of a test, to be honest. That's the thing. So, all I want to say, I hope you enjoyed what I've, this short presentation, and hope to see you around at Sky Education. Take care of yourselves. Thank you very much for your time. Bye-bye.